All right, guys, welcome to today's webinar. I'm super excited to dive in. I've got a legend here, Kris Krohn, joining us. He retired in his late 20s, so he's definitely got a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge that he's going to share today. And he is on top of a very exciting trend that is transforming home building today. That everybody that cares about where the world is going, how they can position themselves to be at the forefront of that, to impact their futures, their wealth building goals, they need to pay attention to this. So I'm going to bring Kris up. I'm going to let Kris introduce himself, unpack this. This is going to be a very impactful webinar for you. I'm super excited for you to learn more from Kris and learn more about what's going on right now in 3D printing in the home building space. Because again, if you want to stay on top of the trends, if you want to be able to also benefit from those trends, then this is a webinar you definitely want to pay attention to. Take lots of notes, ask lots of questions, and we're going to stay on it, answer all your questions at the end of this as well. So definitely, ask your questions, put them in the comments. This way we can help you out as much as possible today and help you really learn what's going on here and how you can become involved too. So let me bring Kris up here.
Hey, what's up, Josh? How we doing, man? How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Life is treating me very well, and I do think we have some exciting things to discuss today.
Yeah, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. Well, I know you've got a lot to unpack, but for those that don't know you, why don't you tell the audience a bit about yourself, your background, and what drives you, and what you're doing right now also excites you too.
All right, I will. I do know that many of you are brought to this conversation piece around 3D printing the steel frames of homes. Some taglines like we can drop the price of real estate by 10%. We can make it more affordable. I think this is the number one solution in the world currently for real estate affordability. And there's some really powerful economics behind these robotics. You want to be in the know on this, but I want to give you some of my background and help you understand who I am. I come from a deep background in real estate. My father was in construction. I've transacted over $2 billion worth of real estate as an investor, and I've helped my investors make hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm just going to put a few things here on the screen to help me organize this as I push through this. Today, I want to give you a little bit of information of why I earned 27 times more money in real estate and how we're now driving that number up with steel framed printing of homes. For those of you that don't know me, do me a favor, go into the chat and just, if you do know me or you've seen me online, I do get millions of views every week. But if you are a little bit familiar with my background or who I am, go ahead and drop that so I don't have to spend too much time on this. But for the rest of you, I became financially free while I was in college at the age of 26. I learned how to buy real estate. I learned how to do it with no money. And it basically bought my freedom. Sovereignty is one of the highest values that I have on this planet in helping people achieve theirs. I have gone on written, best-selling books. I've put on over 1,000 transformational events. I was in Ukraine 3 times doing missions. We've been doing sex trafficking missions. Money has just been nothing more than an energy stream and source to help do good in the world. So here's my soul's purpose. My mission is to discover maps that help people live a better life. And then what do? I share them. Now, before we jump in, I do want you to understand just some basics and backgrounds on me. If you haven't met me online before, when I was in college, like I said, I took $3,300 and in 4 years, I turned it into $1.6 million. The house that you see there, that's me and my wife. That is the first house I bought when I was young and dumb. Now I'm old and dumb. And then I used the equity from that house to buy another house. And then I used the equity from that house to buy more houses. And before long, after these 3 deals, my father-in-law came along and said, Kris, you know how to buy undervalued properties. You know how to do this weird thing called a lease option. And it seems like it's working. How about I give you my 401k and IRA money? We partner up 50-50. We did that. We bought 50 homes together. We crushed it. And basically by taking on a total of 5 partners, by the time I exited college, I had 25 properties that were paying me $12,000 a month. And I still have thousands of people, young bucks, people with money, without money, following my exact same system for multiplying real estate. And the reason why I became financially free is not because I figured it all out on my own or read a good book or two. I had a mentor. Mentor gave me a game plan. And I can tell you that if you like anything I have to say today, I will be offering a free game plan for anyone here that would like to get this multimillionaire's perspective on what you could do to accelerate your financial outcome, create better diversification, and access markets that you normally can't get into. Is that fair, Josh? Is that okay?
No, it's not okay. That's not an incredible free offer whatsoever.
Okay. Well, guys, let me just share with you my technical background. I in the last decade, I've transacted 2,130 properties. I go to the top 5 markets out of 324, and basically I crush it. On these last 2,100 properties over the last decade, we mathematically have achieved an average ROI of 60% per annum, which most people, the average real estate investor, hits 10%. They don't know how to hit 60. It's not 6 times more, it compounds. So it's very, very powerful. And I always love telling this. I started off life like the underdog, and I figured out and I did it. And if I've done it, I know you can do it too. I've lived the private jet life. I've had a chance to do some extraordinary things. And most importantly, money has brought me closer to my loved ones, my family. It's allowed me to do some cool things and bring them along the way. So before we jump into what we're talking about with steel today, let me just give you more of a background on this, because when I tell you that we're 3D printing homes in steel, pre-panelizing them and then shipping them out to the job site, like a project in North Carolina right now, it's really incredible what it does when you understand the economics. I'll break all that down. But my background in real estate will help you understand why this is so appealing to me, because the market has gone up. It's jumped up $150,000 since COVID, and it's not affordable. I've got a 20-year-old daughter. She's like, Dad, how am I ever going to buy a home if Dad doesn't buy it for me? So let me give you some important numbers to take a look at. First of all, if you've got money in a 401k, an IRA, the stock market, you've got 50 grand sitting in there earning you 6% over 20 years. All that's going to do is triple. If you could just figure out how to put that into real estate earning 25%, mind you, I'm doing 60, but if you just were earning 25, that same 50 grand would turn into $4.3 million. So I'm not here to say real estate. I'm not here to say steel. I'm here to say master ROI. Learn how to safely access higher ROIs, because here's what I'm doing. I'm outperforming the stock market 27-1. There's some pretty crazy numbers. And if you want to get there a lot faster, just on appreciation alone, I'm averaging 32%. That doesn't turn into 4.3 million. It turns into $12 million. So I give you these numbers not to impress you, but to impress upon you that the things that I'm sharing and I'm teaching are very, very powerful. And I've got 25 years of track record and history on this. By the way, if you're like, show me the proof, these are properties. For example, this is a home in Orlando where I'm earning a conservative 30% ROI per year. It's above that 25% mark. Here's one in Memphis doing 31.86%. I've got a property right here also in Central Florida doing 40.55%. Now, these will average out to that 60%, but these are just my pro forma numbers as we're gathering data. So there's a lot to share with you. As we're talking about real estate and printing steel and putting them in homes, because I'm about to merge my 2 worlds. My real estate world is about to be merged with my steel world. And this is not just for me. This is for you. Check out some of these numbers. Interest rates, they're dropping. We're sitting at 6%. Trump's promising to lower them more, but this is why most people aren't investing in real estate. And I want to break this down because there's no point talking about development and steel if you're just closed to the market, because most investors are. Let me show you this instead. The interest rates isn't the issue. The ROI is the issue. Most of you just don't know how to get these higher ROIs. I can just tell you right now for just a second that we're missing millions of homes in America. We have our supply demand curve completely screwed up. For the next decade, we won't catch up in time, and we need solutions, especially with 247,000 missing workers in the construction industry and 40% of that industry retiring by the year 2030. So if you've been accumulating money in 401ks, IRAs, home equity savings, crypto, pay attention. I'm just going to show you how I parry this into real estate and now into this new steel thing. And it is because I discovered a best strategy for investing in real estate. And you're going to see how this gets in the crosshairs of the homes that I'm targeting to build in steel. Now, I basically wrote a book. I'm happy to give it to you all for free when you request that game plan. It's also free. I basically asked, of all strategies in real estate, what takes the least time, effort, risk, and profit? What creates the most profit, works in up and down markets, and provides a great strategy? This book My team, when you contact them, we will send you an ebook, an audiobook copy of it, because here's the answer to the question. And this is real meat and potatoes precursor to steal. When I lease option a single family home that's at least a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, hold it for 5 to 7 years, buy it below the median. That's about 30% below the median. Get a minimum 25% ROI and make sure it's in one of these top 5 markets. What do I get? I get these ROIs that we absolutely kill it on. And we're basically beating up the stock market 27 to 1. Now, a big part of what makes this possible is I don't just go nationwide into the best markets. It's my strategy. I do what's called a nationwide lease option. Now, if you've heard of a lease with an option to buy or a rent to own, it's not very common out there, but you may have heard of it. But it's never been done nationwide and scalable. I'm the very first to do it. And I don't have anyone else that has done it since. It's a new concept, takes a lot of technology, but here's the big picture. I buy a home, I control it with a lease option, I sublet it out, and I make money 3 ways. I usually get 10 grand up front. I get a rent spread that is several hundred, $300 to $400, $500 higher than normal rents. And then I get an equity spread. For example, on the left, if I bought this house for $242,000 with $1,300 of rent, on the right side, I lease it out for $324,000 of future value. And let's just say that tends to be the future price it'll be bought with. The rents are $1,900. The down is $10,000. So in the blue middle there, you can see that there's an $82,000 spread, cash flow of $550 and $10,000. You don't need cash to do this. You don't need credit to do this. You don't need a license to do this. It does work in all markets, and you can get your first deal in the first 30 days. Bottom line, this type of real estate that I'm talking about is pretty crazy. Now, I don't believe in actually doing it I don't really believe so much in teaching people how to do it, because just most won't. But that's why I built a system that says, how about if I just do it for you? I'm the expert. I've done it thousands of times. Let me just make it turnkey. And I'll just briefly show you what that is, so that as we segment into the 3D printing of steel, this technology is so freaking mind-blowing. And I will make sure I get through this pretty quick so we can have a lot of time for Q&A. But basically, if you do have money sitting in 401ks and IRAs or equity, and you want to make $1,000 a month per property, and you want to grow your wealth 27 times faster, I do work with people in partnership where I do all of the work. They put up the money. We make big decisions together, and we're 50-50. And it makes millions of dollars. And I won't take the time to go through all of these today, but I have 2,000 partners that I have done this with over the last 20 years. They're very happy. They're very satisfied. And we just keep buying more and more and more real estate because it's a proven system. I figured out how to scale single family nationwide with lease options. And I've done it thousands of people, thousands of times. So with that, I'm just going to drop this real quick right now. Guys, do me a favor, go into the chat. If you guys would like to have a game plan, I'm going to offer you one for free. I'm going to tell you how easy it is to get one. And then we're going to jump into our steel conversation. If you're wondering what a game plan is, here's 3 examples. Matt had a 401k and IRA, and I showed him how to turn it in 5 years to $18 million. Julie in the middle, she didn't have money saved up, but I showed her how to make $4.3 million with a single purchase over 20 years. Carson had little home equity, but he used what he had, and he parlayed that into a $5.7 million game plan. So a game plan ultimately means if you want to experience in what time frame do I need X amount of money, that's what a game plan is. I'll chart it out for what you're on track for, and then I'll give you different opportunities of how you basically scale that up, including how do I make $500,000 a year or $1 million a year if I need to make more money? Or also, how do I access the real estate? And can I do it on my own? Can I do it turnkey? And we'll discuss all of those options. Now, if you want a free game plan, here's how you get it. It's very simple. Right now, just go real quick with me to livegameplan.com. livegameplan.com. And what we're going to do there is all you're going to do is you're going to answer 10 quick questions, hit submit, and my team will contact you later and get you taken care of. If you go there, it's just going to ask for your contact information. And then it's going to say, well, what's your job and income? Give me an idea on your credit. How much do you have in financial assets like 401ks and IRAs? Just give me a big picture. And then the last set of questions basically is, if you own your home, what's its value and what do you owe? And then just select yes to both of those if you'd like to connect with me personally or my team, so we have permission to communicate with you and give you this free device. So live game plan is where you go and go ahead and pick that up. And with that, my friends, what we're going to do now is I'm going to launch into today's main conversation. Check this out. This is the highest paying, purpose-driven work from home opportunity. It's making America more affordable. It's helping families save $100,000 on a new home while giving you a 6 and 7 figure income potential. Now, by the way, if you are upset by home prices that have skyrocketed, then I'm going to show you how to drop the average price of a home by $50,000. You see, we have a problem in construction, missing 4.6 million homes, 245,000 workers shortage, and by 2031, 41% are expected to retire. The solution, we need to go to technology instead of more humans. Recycled steel, the way I'm going to be talking about it, when we print it, it is cheaper than wood by 30%. It is faster to print, and it is 4 times stronger while being 70% lighter. This technology was created because in Australia 30 years ago, there was a really big problem. They basically had problems with their homeowners' insurances because in those climates, it's cyclonic, it's seismic, you get wood rot, termites, and basically the insurance carrier said, we have to stop building homes out of firewood. This company came around at Scottsdale. They created a 3D printer. That's one of their 3 machines. What it does is it 3D prints the entire frame of a house. They snap together, then they get riveted and bolted, and then they get shipped out to the builder in these panels. And essentially it's 60% pre-assembled. They can essentially erect a 2,500 square foot home. They can print it in one day in the facility, and then they can ship it to the location and set it up in 2 days. No waste, no dumpsters, all recycled, and we're saving 40 trees per house that we no longer have to log. My mission is to end the logging industry for new construction. It's a massive industry, and in my lifetime, in the next 20 years, we'll see it. That is my goal, is to put the lumber mills that deal in new construction completely out of business. So we're talking about a huge green initiative. We're talking about something very worthwhile. I am a tree lover and I'm a tree hugger. So you're going to get some of that. All right. Now, this is what makes this very interesting for you to know about. Businesses can't be cheaper, faster, and better. It's rare. Like you'd have to be rare as Amazon, but this company is cheaper, faster, and better. And it's not just innovation, it's total disruption because it is replacing the workforce and getting these homes built 70% faster. So this company is cheaper, faster, better with this new disruptive technology. Cheaper, it's about 30% cheaper across the board on the number one line item of framing. And when you compare it to the total construction of the home, it drops the price by about 10%. It's faster because on-site labor can basically set it up in days versus weeks. And then it's 4 times faster and 70% lighter. So if you want proof of how homeowners are saving $100,000 on their home, let me just show you what that looks like. Let's compare timber to steel, and then we're going to go into some Q&A. There are 7 line items. The first one is framing. $10 a square foot on a 3,000 square foot home. It's $30,000 to build a timber home. With next-gen steel, it goes to $5 a foot, so you're saving $15,000 on labor. Number 2, lumber waste and overage. Typical timber build has 15% of wood that gets thrown away. It's $7,000. You don't throw anything away with 3D printed steel. Saves you $7,000. Number 3, you've got 4 dumpsters at $800 a piece to haul off all of the scrap. You just don't have dumpster fees when you're dealing in steel. Your MEP, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC trades, they now offer you a 2.5% discount because they don't have to do punch outs. Everything is pre-punched, saves $6,600. Cabinetry and accessory blocking, it's already built in, so you don't have to charge the extra $2,000 for adding blocking. And we get to the weatherproof window 70% faster. What we do is it saves a lot of money and interest on that home. Then you have callbacks and punch out work. Typical timber build, it's $3,100 on next gen steel. There's no punch outs because everything is straight and true. Builder's risk insurance also drops by 70% because the steel isn't flammable like wood. All of these things come together to save the builder or the homeowner $40,000. And then over the 12 years that the homeowner is going to live in that home, they're going to save $60,000 on insurance because it is 40% cheaper to do that home. It brings it to $100,000 of savings. This is massive technology. We are printing products in all 50 states. We're going to open it up for Q&A with just a quick reminder that if you didn't request a live game plan, you can go to livegameplan.com, submit that, and my team can talk to you about real estate and how that coalesces right into the game of steel, because you have opportunities to become an affiliate of this. That's what creates the 6 and 7 figure opportunity. I literally have 300 affiliates I've recruited in the last 3 months. These individuals literally come from all walks of life, doctors and lawyers and W2ers and entrepreneurs. They're just basically calling builders and saying, hey, would you like to make the switch from wood to steel and save 30%? It almost sounds like a Geico insurance. It's kind of crazy, Josh. You can save 30% on your construction costs by switching from wood to steel. So it does create a really powerful opportunity. So if you're looking for income, fill out that form. And if you're looking for real estate right now, my next step is we're going into new construction. We're building these homes 10% cheaper and then holding them and doing the lease option. And right now it's going to create the biggest spread we've seen in my 25 years of investing. There we go, Josh. There's the really high level that I wanted to prepare for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you brought up so many different points that I've really absorbed, that I really loved hearing more about. I mean, for one, it doesn't make any sense to keep money in a 401k account when you have other things you could be doing with that. And I remember I was in corporate America in my 20s, early 30s before I started my business. And I've been in business now 13 years. And I was just like the average person. I was just letting my company's 401k account make me wealth, as I put in quotes, which was not happening. And it just, to me, it opens my eyes. And I want other people to see that too, because I would hate for people to lean on only a 401k account and the home that they live in and maybe a few little investments here and there, instead of actually focusing on investments, like you said, that play the ROI game right to beat inflation, to grow wealth.
The average 401k balance at 65 years old is $254,000.
I know, it's
so
ridiculous.
That's the average person at that time is spending about 85 grand a year. So they literally in 40 years of working have only set aside 3 years if they want to keep that same standard of income. So people generally aren't saving 10 to 15% even of the total that they really need. So they do need to think differently. But the question is, how do you access safer investments without taking on more risk? And that's that's what we're here talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I mean, you guys definitely should be taking advantage of this free gameplan.com. By the way, good job getting that domain.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Livegameplan.com.
Yes, livegameplan.com. Yeah, that's a phenomenal domain to have. So guys, go to livegameplan.com. Take advantage of this opportunity. It's free. It's going to provide value. It's going to provide impact. And then, Kris, it'd be great to hear a little bit more about, what's going on with Next Gen and, what that opportunity is in Next Gen that people can take advantage of. And also, if someone wants to jump past, this free game plan offer and they want to find out more and they want to actually get involved with what you're doing with Next Gen, how can they do that?
I think really filling out the livegameplan.com and talking to my team, they're there then prepared to share with you all the options, everything that you can do. And when it comes to Next Gen, what's really unique is basically when I sat down with my partner, the traditional model was hire a sales guy, pay him 4% of whatever steel they sell. Person usually makes $250,000 a year if they're good at the job. And I said, well, let's do it different. Let's not pay 4% and hire one guy. Let's pay 5% and hire 1,000 guys. And he looked at me like I was a little bit crazy. I said, I know construction doesn't do affiliate programs, but I seriously think you could. And we've done $150 million of contracted proposals out the door in just the last 90 days. So these affiliates now know, hey, I can just Google builders and just ask them if they want to make the switch. And if they're interested, they give me their plans. I or a member of my team can basically create a bid proposal. If they say yes, then I get 5% of the entire job. And it ends up being a lot of money because someone might call someone that wants to do it one single family home and maybe they make $5,000 on it. But that builder might do 20 more homes this year and $5,000 just turned into $100,000. Because once they go to steel, they never go back to wood. And so you're literally with the only company with this proprietary, this proprietary construction equipment that can actually do this. And so I had another person who called a builder who's doing a hotel, and they're like at a $1.6 million potential commission on that deal. So you find a builder, you don't know how big or small they're going to do, but all of their deals for the rest of their life are going to run through you. And so it creates an extraordinary income opportunity for our affiliates. And then we give them recruiting overrides if they want to help bring some other people to the opportunity. It's one level, it's simple, it's single, but it works really, really well, Josh.
That's awesome. I'll actually, for anybody that gets involved, I'll give people this Apollo use SOP, standard operating procedure, for those that don't know what that means, that allows someone that becomes an affiliate with NextGen to use Apollo to reach out to targeted real estate professionals, in the real estate companies that they want to target, that they want to speak with. So this way they can start conversations with high value leads that they can then bring in, that can find out more about NextGen, and then they could obviously, close them on contracts, use leaning on you and your team. But I'll give them this SOP. Like we currently have it for finding e-com businesses to buy. And it's fairly, efficient, fairly automated. It takes very little day-to-day work in the communication. Most of the work is done through automation, but it could be very quickly adapted to what you're doing for any affiliates that sign up. So I'll throw that in too, just to help people out, because I want to see people succeed in your program, build wealth. I want to see NextGen, be successful. You be successful with this. So I'll definitely throw that in with anybody that signs up here.
Awesome, Josh. That's amazing. Thank you.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, let's go to questions. So throw your questions here in the comments. I know we've got a few questions we need to address. So let's dive in here. So here is a question from, hopefully I'm saying this correctly, Guru or Guru. Where is your factory, and can we visit it?
So you can. It's in Linden, Utah. And it's a 10,000 square foot facility, and we have people that do fly in town that actually want to get a tour. And once you see it, you're going to realize, oh, this is not commercial steel. This is a snap together proprietary 4 times stronger. What we're doing is these machines mimic the profile of a 2x4, a 2x6, and a hat truss. And that allows us to print the entire house, staircases, floor joists, everything from top to bottom. Great question. Thank you.
It's awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you for the question. Feel free to ask some more questions there, Gero. Here's a question from Marlon. I'll put it on screen. So these are custom to build homes, meaning you build any design to customer specs. That's the first question. Are you currently building whole developments? Second question.
Yes, we're doing all of that. So we've built hospitals and dormitories and single family homes and custom homes. What we end up doing is we take a set of plans, and then we re-engineer them with our proprietary products. Since 2018, we're in the building code internationally, which means that we have the ability to build everywhere, and anything down from Fido's dog shed all the way up to most of the time 4 and 5 story buildings before you started getting into more red iron steel. We're also able to do a lot of value engineering for loads. We can go 100-foot spans, and it's the profiles that we use that give us that level of tensile strength.
Cool. That's awesome. Marlon, thank you for the question. Let me know if you have any additional questions in regards to that. All right. Next question. This is from Edwin. Have you all done any multifamily with the printed steel? I think he kind of answered that question just now, but
yeah, we actually are finishing a 7-plex right now in North Carolina. And the first flatbed truck went out, and in the first day, the entire first story of the entire building went up. And the framers were just blown away because usually who erects this? Well, it's 60% created in the facility. And then what we do is we put it in front of builders, and their framing crew basically gets a little training from us. And then it's easier than assembling a wood home. They're just putting panel A to panel B and screwing it together.
That's cool. Wow. Nice. Yeah, I was actually, I've looked into, I'm a geek. I read all sorts of stuff, watch all sorts of things to, stay on top of, things that are happening in different industries. And, I've learned about 3D printing tech years ago in home building and commercial building. I believe it was Money Master the Game that first opened my eyes to that, which was a really, really awesome book. It's a thick book, it's like this thick. thin pages too. No pictures, just pure content. But it was an awesome book that just really, really opened my eyes. And actually, another book too, Ray Kurzweil. So I went to Joe Polish's Genius Network annual event back in late 2019, I believe, and every attendee received this unpublished little book that was like maybe this big. And they went into 3D printing and how that's going to change home building as well. So this is a tech that has really been at the forefront for quite some time, and it's something that I've been paying attention to over the last few years as well. Okay, here's a question from Giro. How long has NextGen been operating?
So my business partner, Chad, has been in this space for over a decade. He's the leading with Scottsdale's technology. He's basically the North American leader. We started NextGen 4 months ago to basically expand our footprint and to go nationwide instead of regional, which is what he was doing before.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for answering that. And then I'm going to give Guro one more question here because he's asking away. So I'm going to reward him for asking away. Here's another question he just submitted. How does the shipping cost impact the total if you ship from Utah to North Carolina?
So we're actually setting up nodes. We did a capital raise and we're setting up all across the country so that we can basically be within 1 day of shipping for wherever we are. In some cases, it's 2 days, and so it's not bad. It's a good business model.
That's awesome. Yeah, good job there. Okay, cool. Okay, here is a question from Derek, and he is about to buy a business with our help. So I'm looking forward to seeing him just blow up his wealth with what we're doing at ARM5. So he has a question here. He said replaces 2x4 option for 2x6 for better value ? So he has a second part to his question, but let's address that first.
Yeah. So we're basically profiling 2x4s and 2x6s, and when we do that in steel and we put in our proprietary webbing from Scottsdale, that's what makes it 4 times stronger than wood, but 70% lighter. And so we have both of those profiles, and with those 2 profiles in the hat truss, with those 3 products, if you will, we can construct an entire house in very, very large buildings, 100,000 square foot buildings.
Awesome. And then he also asked, training available for framing crew?
Yeah, so we train our framing crews. When we send a job out, we basically send someone out for half a day to basically show them how it works. And by middle of the day, they're usually kicking us out and saying, let us get to work. So it's pretty easy. Cool.
Okay. Awesome. And then let's see. And then zoomed in by accident. All right. So I'm going to continue. So Derek also asked turnaround time ? I think you maybe answered that. Shipping costs factored into savings. Lumber supplier is super local. Do you know what he means by that?
Well, first of all, when we talk about turnaround times, when someone gives us a set of plans, it's good to get a set of plans 4 to 6 weeks out before they need the job printed and ready and on site. It takes about 4 weeks to basically go through the engineer process, because what we'll do is we'll before we engineer it, we'll design the whole thing, make sure that everything looks good, and then we send you out a 3D rendering so that your MEP trades can look at it and make sure that we're pre-punching everything out and doing blocking and setting everything up that will make their job very, very easy. They don't have to go around the job site screwing holes in the wood so that they can pass cords through. Everything has been pre-punched, everything is ready, and all of that is done. So that's the time frame that you're generally looking for.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for answering that. And then a question from Marlon here. Are you able to build homes in hurricane regions like coastlines, like Florida, for example?
Yeah. So our wind rating compared to cinder block is higher. Cinder block starts at a 160 mile an hour rating. We're at 165 out the gate before we actually beef up the engineering. So these homes are, they're not just cheaper than cinder block, but they're stronger. I think my partner's first project was in Louisiana where Hurricane Ida hit, and he set up at the time the largest purple fitness with 25-foot tall walls. That hurricane rolled through, the building did not get touched.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, you would think that would be the case with steel. Steel would strengthen the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. So Next question is from Daraka. I'd love to be a representative. How can I be part of the team?
Go to livegameplan.com, fill out your information, and just let my team know, and they'll give you the details on everything.
Okay. All right. I'll just put the link again in the comments here, guys. This way you guys can go to it. It's free. And then after that, you'll have an opportunity as well to get involved with this. And then Kenneth asked, nano ceramic. I think he's wondering, is it nano ceramic?
I'm not sure what that actually means, but it's a steel product. It's not ceramic. Sorry, that's as close as I can get to understanding the question. I must be missing some lingo lessons on that one.
All good. Kenneth, please provide a little bit more context, a little bit more clarity on your question. This way we can address it. We definitely would love to give you some feedback here. Here's another question from Giro. How many employees does NextGen have, and how many to run a project on the machine?
So in a facility, you run shifts. And so a shift is a team of 15 people. You've got your production manager, and then you have 3 roles. You basically have the machinists, and then you have the assemblers and the stackers. So it comes off the machine. The team then snaps it together and rivets it together. And then it goes to a team of stackers that prepare it for shipping. It's a system. The machine will print off the bottom plate, the top plate, and then all the side plates. So everyone knows how to put the walls together and how to keep up with the machines. So it's a team of 15 people that are basically working on printing the project. If it's a larger project, then we deploy a second set of teams. And then as far as corporate employees goes, it's not a very heavy company, but we are rapidly expanding right now, because by the end of the year, we're probably going to need 4 or 5 more shifts. So probably going to hire 75 to 100 more people.
Wow. You guys are expanding. That's great. Here's another question from Giro as well. Is there a cost upfront if you sign up a builder to do the conversion from wood to steel?
So a builder doesn't have to pay anything. We'll do free bids for them. And then if they take the bid, deal's done. But there is a part of the money that we take out of the project that we pay the affiliate that brought the builder to us. So there's no paywall for the builder.
Okay, awesome. All right. So Marlon has a question here. With AI data centers in vogue now, do you have designs for those?
We do, but because everything is custom anyway, it just doesn't matter. We do have a whole host of ready to build projects that people can select from if they'd like to save money and do that, or they can just bring us their plans and we'll print them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Marlon. Keep the questions coming. So Matthew just joined. So hats off to Matthew for taking action. It's one thing to look into something. It's another thing to actually take action. That people that take action get the results. So Matthew says, just joined. Are all framing components made of steel?
Everything is made of steel.
Okay.
You basically have rivets, you have bolts, and you have the steel itself. There's 4 SKUs. That's it. So it's in manufacturing, it is low variability, but high volume.
All right. And then, so Kenneth, he's the one that asked about he said nano ceramic, and we didn't understand exactly what he meant. But he's got an additional comment here and a question. He says, I have a modular prefab company that builds smart tiny homes, and I wonder if you and them can work together.
Yes, you wouldn't be the first. Right now, there's a number of companies that are basically prefabbing all sorts of different things that are making the switch to steel instead of wood. 100%.
That's awesome. Awesome. And Kenneth can probably just go to livegameplan.com, sign up, book a call there, talk to you about it further. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Kenneth, there you go, man. Thank you for being here. Hats off to you for the question. Hats off to Daraka for booking a call as well. She also asked this, well, he or she, I don't know if it's he or she, I apologize. So Daraka said, you're building hotels, ?
Yes.
Okay. Simple question. All right. And then I just have a bunch of comments. Like Marlon said, I may have missed it, but where is your steel sourced from? Because as we know, tariffs can pop up out of nowhere nowadays.
Yeah. Well, we're all American made. And so everything comes from Nucor. They're the #1 recycled steel manufacturer in the world.
Cool. All right. Great. All right, guys. Well, we've got a little bit more time here. So questions, put them in the comments. Take advantage of this opportunity.
Yes,
Yeah.
Matthew, American made.
Yes.
There's no part of it that is outsourced. There's nothing that comes from overseas.
It's a way to do it, especially underneath the current presidency.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question from Giro. How long does it take to convert the plans from wood to steel?
Takes about 2 weeks to do the initial design. And then if that looks good, then it takes another 2 weeks to complete engineering. At that point, you have a hard cost. So when we send out a bid or a proposal, it is a rough order of magnitude proposal. And that means that it's plus or minus 5% because our system can tell you roughly what the project will cost with quite a bit of accuracy. After design, the final dollar amount will change plus or minus 5% based on the way it was engineered and designed.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback. All right. Keep the questions coming, Giro. Appreciate your engagement. All right. Kenneth Wilkins, and I apologize. There's actually two Kenneths here. Is the meeting still taking place in Utah at the end of this month?
Yes, I'm holding my real estate convention on the 30th and 31st. That will mostly be a real estate based convention, but there's going to be a lot of talk about steel there.
Sweet. Cool. Is there like an event page for that I could put in the comments so this way people can check out that event?
I think the easiest would still be to go to livegameplan.com. And my team can also send you all the information about that as well. If you want copies of my books, we're happy to give those out for free. So if you just have any needs whatsoever, they'll take care of that. And we still have some seats for that event in Utah on the 30th and 31st. And I do have even some people that are coming out to my personal residence. I have a 30,000 square foot home. I'm going to be hosting a mastermind the day before. So some people might want to come in for that Thursday and then be for the convention on Friday and Saturday. The convention is held at my own private event center. So it's a very intimate experience that we provide and put on for people.
That sounds awesome. Sounds amazing. Guys, you should definitely, when you get on a call, find out more about that.
Well, if you actually have any interest in checking out our facility or going to the event, talk to my team and I'll inform them to give you 2 tickets to the event. These are $400 tickets each. We'll actually just comp those, Josh, for you. You've been really great to work with. So if anyone does want to come out, I'll cover your tickets.
Wow. That's an amazing opportunity, guys. Jump on that. Seriously, I can't tell you how many times in the last 13 plus years that I've had opportunities presented to me that weren't the perfect time. It wasn't the perfect situation, but I was like, you know what? It's an incredible opportunity. I got to jump into it. I got to make it happen. I got to be there. So, definitely, take advantage of that opportunity. That's a huge, huge opportunity. So thank you, Kris, for offering that to everybody here. And then Daraka had a question. He said, this product is approved for up to code all over the USA. That's his question.
No, this is the international building code. So that includes the United States. And so it's already been approved. We won that battle in 2018, which means that it's very easy for us to build our product everywhere and anywhere. Right now, we just had our first home go up in the Palisades with this technology after the fire tore through last year because they don't want to build a home out of wood. And I think that in 20 years, we're going to help change the dialogue. There was a time when we thought smoking was cool, and now people really don't think it's that cool. There was a time when people didn't need seatbelts, and there was a time when we cut down trees to build homes out of firewood. Those days in the future are going to be gone, and no one's going to want to ever set foot into a wood structured home ever again.
Agreed. All right. A question from Giro here. Do you train framing crews on site or in the factory? Reason I ask is a lot of wood guys are kind of weary on the steel, but I know it's easier once they do it.
On site.
On site. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And Derek's got a great question here. So any on the team can help enroll a builder? ? I can intro high-level contacts from the biggest builders in US. Maybe need Kris ?
Yeah,
So that's
we will help you do that and help you crush it. Yeah. There's literally, if you have the right set of contacts, there's millions of dollars to make per annum and just knowing the right people.
Yeah, Derek,
but anyone can go find them. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. All right. questions, guys. Keep them coming. We've got a little bit more time here. A little bit more time.
Yeah, and I do have an engagement at top of the hour. So if there's, I'm happy to get whatever questions we can in, and then I'm just excited for you guys to get access to this knowledge and information.
All right. Giro says, thanks for all the information and great presentation.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, guys. I'm going to give another minute or so for questions. Replay, Matthew. Yes, there will be a replay. We'll be sending it out to everybody. So, you can definitely catch this again afterwards. That's totally fine. So just be on the lookout for that. Daraka also said, thank you. This is game-changing information. I agree. Hats off for all you guys being here too, So one thing to sign up, it's another thing to actually show up and put the work in and put some time into this. So hats off to you.
Well, Josh, it looks like we were able to successfully answer everyone's question and present this information. And it's an honor to be here. I appreciate a lot of the thank yous coming through, and it is game-changing information. And you guys have a chance to literally be tip of the spear on the front end of a revolution. My partner that spent the last decade had to work and slosh through building code and things like that. We're done. It's easy. Builders are curious. When they look at it, they're a little skeptical. Then they get their head wrapped around it. And then it's a very easy yes, because at the end of the day, who wouldn't want to pay 30% less on steel than wood? Right. Who wouldn't want a home that's 4 times stronger? There's safety for the builder, not just their fire risk and their builder's risk, but you can stand up a 2-story wall with 2 dudes instead of needing a crane. Everything becomes better with this recycled product, but most importantly, it's good for homes. And that's why the homeowner's insurance is up to 40% cheaper with Marsh McClendon, the #1 insurer in North America. And so it's all around. It's a great opportunity. And if you guys want to join and be a part of it, please go to livegameplan.com, connect with my team. We'll connect with you on investing in real estate. We'll connect with you guys on the steel product. And with that, thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, Kris, thank you so much for being here, spending some time with us. Guys, great job with the questions. Great job taking action. I know a lot of people signed up. Guys, go to livegameplan.com. Get involved with this. And guys, I'll see you guys on the next webinar next week, same time. Everybody, have a great day.